Knucklehead Fred is the Benign Bully by Arius Williams, illustrated by Bolaji Oyole. There once was a knucklehead boy named Fred who always said the first thing that came into his head. He didn't care if it was mean, hurtful, or kind or untrue. Fred had no filter. His parents didn't know what they should do. They always taught Fred to be honest and to say what was on his mind. But now that Fred was getting older, his behavior was getting out of line. Fred was little, it was cute and funny, and everyone would laugh. Like when he told Aunt Maxine that she looked like an elephant mixed with a giraffe. Or when he told Mr. Cranston his breath smelled like hot trash, they all thought it was a phase. No way it would last. Fast forward a few years later, and now Fred's in trouble at school for making fun of his classmates by saying things that mean and cruel. Like when his friend Julian spilled his water all over his pants, and Fred laughed and pointed at Julian and did the pee pee dance. When Julian began to cry, Fred was filled with surprise. He had hurt his friend's feelings and didn't realize. The entire class was pointing and laughing too, joining in the fun. Oh no, Fred thought to himself. Now look what I've done. Mrs. Johnson was fierce, her blood boiling as she began to fume. Fred put down his head on his desk as he was filled with regret and impending doom. That was so mean of you, Frederick. I can't believe what you did. I always knew you to be such a nice and respectful kid. I'm sorry, Mrs. Johnson. Does that mean that I'm in trouble? Of course it does, Frederick. I'll be calling your mother at recess. So when the bell rings, don't you dare get up from this desk. After math and science, when the bell rang for recess rang, Fred ran out the room, hoping his punishment slipped his teacher's brain. As Fred crossed the doorway, he caught Mrs. Johnson's eye. She said, Hey, where you think you're going, little guy? Fred lowered his head and eyes, visibly in distress. I'll just have to face the music and take my punishment, I guess. You know what, Fred? I've had some time to cool off, and I've been doing a bit of thinking. Fred got butterflies in his stomach and his heart began sinking. Yes, Mrs. Johnson, you've been thinking about what? I've been thinking today is your day, Fred, and you're in a bit of luck. Because instead of calling your mom right away, I have a much better plan. How about an RJ circle? Just you, me, and Julian. An RJ circle? Sorry, miss, I've never heard of that. Well, today you'll learn something new. It stands for Restorative Justice Circle, in fact. It's a chance for all parties to share how they're feeling and hopefully repair the trust that was broken and start the process of healing. Okay, Mrs. Johnson, sounds good to me, I guess. Great, we'll do it today, right after school. You'll show up, I'll do the rest. All day, Fred looked at the clock with dread. Each second felt like a minute with that RJ circle thing stuck in his head. It seemed like forever until the dismissal bell rang, and Mrs. Johnson made sure to call Fred and Julian's name. Gentlemen, I need you two to stay after class. Fred thought for a moment, heck, the moment had come for his punishment at last. Mrs. Johnson, Julian, and Fred all formed their chairs in a circle, and then she handed Julian a beanbag the color of purple. This purple beanbag is called the talking piece, and when it's not in your possession, all talking must cease. So, Julian, please tell us how you feel, and remember to be honest in this circle. Nothing needs to be concealed. Julian paused and waited a moment before speaking, and when he did, he was so nervous that his voice began squeaking. Well, Fred, we've been friends since kindergarten, and you've always had my back. So I'm trying to understand why you did what you did. What's up with that? Julian passed the talking piece as Fred thought of his response. And truly, Fred was at a loss for words for once. Finally, he said, I don't know, Julian. I guess I didn't use my head. I should have thought before I spoke instead. I apologize for hurting your feelings and making you cry. Julian sat quietly as he thought of his reply. Apology accepted, Fred. We all make mistakes. And yeah, we're still friends. Who else would I talk to about snakes? The two boys shook hands and shared a friendly embrace. Miss Johnson sat in her chair with tears of joy running down her face. Good job, young men, she said. Now let's pack and go home. And remember, apologies don't mean you're weak. They prove that you're strong. The boys left the room happy as can be, and Fred learned a thing or two about compassion and humility.